This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 17th day of June in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition leader Joe Harmon has called for the immediate suspension of the administration of the Sputnik COVID-19 vaccine until the government provides key information on the procurement of the vaccine. During a press conference today, Mr. Harmon said because the vaccine did not come directly from the supplier, but rather through a middleman, he has questions about its authenticity, and he would like those questions answered.
Guyanese were given the impression that by this government that like other vaccines which were made available to Guyana, that the Sputnik V vaccine had been authorized. What we of course discovered from statements made by the Minister of Health was that that authorization was a local authorization from the Food and Drug Department, which is a department under the said Ministry of Health. So that is the authorization we have based on these vaccines which were ordered from a middleman in the United Arab Emirates that was produced ostensibly in Russia, and that we are now vaccinating our population with. The PPP has placed the lives of thousands of Guyanese at risk.
The opposition leader said, given the global concerns about counterfeit vaccines and the fact that Guyana is receiving the Sputnik doses from a middleman, the matter is now a safety matter for the people of Guyana.
We demand that the Ministry of Health provide us with the batch numbers purchased from the Sheikh Al Maktoum, the details of the shipping, including the transshipment, and the conditions under which the vaccines were stored.
Harmon suggested that the vaccine should be put on hold until the population is given the assurance that the vaccines are not bogus.
I know that there are concerns internationally about the Sputnik vaccine. And I'm not challenging the efficacy of this vaccine, but what my concern is about is that we get the real thing here in Guyana. Because there's a report in Reuters on the 16th of March 2021, and it speaks about fake batch of Sputnik 5 vaccines seized in Mexico.
Back in March, authorities in Mexico seized almost 6,000 doses of Sputnik vaccines that was en route by private plane to Honduras. The bottles, whose labels featured spelling errors in Russian, were hidden among soft drink cans in an icebox. Images shared by the government showed them. The Ministry of Health in Guyana has already dispelled suggestions that the vaccines being bought for Guyana are fake. And when we return, President Irfan Ali and the Minister of Health respond to the opposition leader. More news in a moment.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Sonia, you think people easy? People just really want to do their own thing. Look across the road how we building the house low. The building code say you're supposed to be 2 feet off the ground.
And when the place flood, them just be the first to complain.
But you know sometimes we that just contribute to the flooding with we behavior.
You know, boy, we just throw things in the drains and canals. We don't keep the gutters clean and dispose of garbage properly. By the way, you got an emergency kit?
Yeah, Sonia, I got me own and it got drinking water, army medicines, and for say things like band-aids, iodine, bandages.
And me own got in toothpaste, a change of underwear and clothing, toilet paper and soap.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
I'm Joseph Harmon, leader of the opposition, and I'm here to encourage all Guyanese to take the COVID 19 vaccine. In the coming days, we will be rolling out a few activities as part of our increased efforts to help us fight against this deadly virus. Join us as we come together to protect ourselves and our loved ones. None of us are protected unless all of us are protected. Get vaccinated today, protect you, and protect your loved ones.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Welcome back. Declaring that the COVID vaccination drive should not be treated as a political football or political issue, President Irfan Ali this afternoon said the opposition leader Joe Harmon is reckless and selfish for issuing that call for the use of the Sputnik COVID-19 vaccine to be suspended. Speaking to news source this afternoon, President Ali said the government would never jeopardize the safety of citizens, and he therefore sees the opposition leader's call for the suspension as reckless.
Goes beyond selfishness. This is putting the population at risk, putting the lives of Guyanese at risk. Let me be very clear. Mr. Harmon himself took the Sputnik vaccine. Mr. Harmon himself took the Sputnik vaccine. More than 74 countries are using the Sputnik vaccine. CARPA reference countries, including Brazil and Argentina, both approved and registered the Sputnik vaccine.
An international news report on the sale of the Sputnik vaccine named Guyana as one of the countries that has fallen victim to paying overpriced sums to get the vaccine through a Dubai sheikh. The sheikh was in Guyana last November and held discussions with President Ali. The president today said the vaccines are safe, and his government has been sparing no effort to get the vaccines for the people of Guyana so that the country can effectively tackle the pandemic.
The Sputnik vaccine that Guyana received followed the local regulatory approval We have all the clinical data that was required. We have every batch of those vaccines come with serial number and batch codes that are matched back to the manufacturers. And on your vaccination card itself, if you look at your vaccination card, you will see batch number and serial number. So I find this distasteful and disgusting.
According to the president, the government will continue to administer the vaccine in its efforts to get more persons vaccinated and to get ahead of the pandemic.
We made efforts directly with the developer, manufacturers, and countries directly to procure vaccines, including diplomatic channels. As you're aware, these vaccines are very difficult to acquire. For a matter of fact, many countries today are still grappling with efforts to source vaccines, one, or two, they're not in a position to finance vaccines.
President Ali said some countries are already seeing the consequences of not being able to secure vaccines, and more than 70 countries are already using the Sputnik vaccine. Well, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony this afternoon said the opposition leader has provided no medical evidence that could force a suspension of the administration of the Sputnik vaccine, and therefore the government will continue to administer the vaccine. At a hastily called press conference, which was aired live on state TV and radio and across social media, the Minister of Health lashed out at the opposition leader's call to suspend administering the vaccine and said the vaccines are safe.
He hasn't produced any evidence that the vaccine is not safe, hasn't produced any evidence that the vaccine is not working, but proceeded to make a conclusion that the vaccine is fake. And based on his analysis that the vaccine is fake, has called for us to suspend the use of the vaccine in Guyana. Well, since he hasn't produced any evidence and there's nothing to go by, and of course he is not a medical person, why should we bother with him?
Dr. Anthony said the government is now focused on achieving herd immunity in the fight against COVID-19 and is on its way to that position, with more than 220,000 persons already receiving a first dose of one of the vaccines and more than 90,000 fully vaccinated. Questioned by news source about the number of persons fully vaccinated using Sputnik, the health minister said he will have to provide that information at a later date. The opposition has been calling on the government to come clean on the deal with a Dubai sheikh to purchase the vaccine Sputnik at twice the recommended price. The health minister said the government has been very open about the cost it has paid for the vaccine, but when questioned as to why the government did not go for larger quantities of the cheaper Chinese vaccine, which was readily available and which it has bought, Dr. Anthony said there were other factors and Guyana paid upfront for the Sputnik.
We concluded the arrangements with Sputnik earlier, and then as we were evaluating, we needed to have more vaccines. So we then approached Sinopharm to try to get access to additional vaccines. And that's how these negotiations go. So you have multiple things going on at the same time. And we are trying to get as much vaccines as possible into the country to make sure that our vaccination program is on target. And that's what we've been doing. So we have not confined ourselves just to AstraZeneca or Sputnik V or Sinopharm. We have been looking at various options.
Why did Guyana choose and is still paying for Sputnik over that Chinese vaccine? Why are you going more for Sputnik, 400,000 doses, as against a very small number of the Chinese vaccine that is much cheaper?
We already had paid for the 400,000 doses of Sputnik. We had already paid for it.
So why was there an...
It's now delivery. And by the way, up to about a month ago, the Sinopharm vaccines was not approved by the WHO.
In the National Assembly earlier this week, Dr. Anthony announced that Guyana has spent an average of $23 for a dose of the Sputnik vaccine, while the recommended price was around $10 per dose. The country has so far spent close to $1 billion for the Sputnik vaccine. The Chinese Sinopharm vaccine, which was recently given the all clear by the World Health Organization, was purchased at a much lower cost, but Guyana bought less of that vaccine. The health minister said his ministry will forge ahead with the vaccination drive, and he will continue to encourage persons to get vaccinated. Let's tell you now that Assistant Police Commissioner Simon McBean, who was reinstated into the force by the Police Service Commission in 2019, is now claiming that plans are afoot to oust him from the police force yet again. In a letter to the Commissioner of Police, Assistant Commissioner McBean said after he requested his vacation allowance for the time he was out of the force, he stumbled upon an unsigned letter purporting to come from the Commissioner's office and addressed to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, raising questions about his reinstatement in 2019. Mr. McBean, in the letter to the police commissioner, said while the memo sought to address the issue of his allowance, it also pointed out that his return to the Guyana police force was in contravention of the law and court order. Coincidentally, the same police service commission that reinstated Mr. McBean was suspended one day after the purported letter was prepared. McBean complained that this and previous attempts from persons signing on behalf of the Commissioner of Police to keep him away from the police force is deeply worrying, dangerous, and a direct threat to his psychosocial health. He complained that the present trend of the Guyana police force of sidelining and attempting to assassinate, destroy, and damage the character of professional officers to facilitate officers who supposedly feel threatened is a detriment to professionalism and harmful to the force's development. In his letter, which was also copied to the President, McBean said many senior officers are operating within a cutthroat culture of deception. He added that there has been a breakdown of professional standards within the police force. Back in 2009, almost a year after he returned to Guyana from studying abroad, McBean was thrown out of the Guyana police force over allegations that he made an unauthorized decision to proceed on no-pay leave to further his studies. 10 years later, the Police Service Commission reinstated him after the court declared that he had been wrongfully dismissed. The Civil Defense Commission on Wednesday met with executives of the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission and the Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association to explore ways of bringing relief to flood-affected miners. Mining activities in some mining communities have come to a complete halt, and some miners are already on record pleading with financial institutions to defer their loans since they cannot ply their trade. A release from the CDC quoted Director General Kester Craig as saying that the intent is to see how best they can work together to provide relief as far as is possible when it comes to the mining sector. The CDC pointed out that to locate every miner in the mining districts will be difficult, and it will therefore be collaborating with the Geology and Mines Commission. Further, the CDC announced that a team from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency will soon arrive in Guyana to conduct a detailed damage assessment of the impact of the flood in the various sectors across the country. The CDC has also suggested that there should be a joint operation between stakeholders in the mining sector and the Ministry of Health's team that is currently distributing medical supplies for the distribution of relief supplies so as to reach out to those affected faster. Telecommunications company GTT today handed over a check for $3 million to the Civil Defense Commission to help with the flood relief efforts across the country. The company said the money will go towards buying the much-needed supplies and support the homes of many persons in regions 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 who are severely impacted by the flood. The marketing and communications manager at GTT, Nicola Balram, said the company is pleased to give the needed support that will help touch the lives of many homes across the country. She said one of the company's corporate promises is to strengthen the communities where it serves. And over the past weeks, the company has witnessed how the flood has affected the lives of thousands of people. And so it is hoping that the support will bring some comfort to those affected. CDC Director General Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, who received the check, thanked the company for its donation, while noting that the agency welcomes all donations to support the flood relief efforts.
You see them children playing in the dirty water again?
You know me talk to them this morning, like them don't understand.
Every time it flood, they just want to go in the flood waters. They think this thing is fun. You could get serious diseases in the water. And if an electrical line fall in the water, you could get electrocuted. Little boy, you want to tell you not to play in that water? Come here this minute.
You see the water don't start coming in the house? When you're living in a downstairs, you just got to take precautions.
That is right. You got to make sure there's a pair of long boots for every member of the family. Protect drinking water from contamination. Keep a stock of foods that can't spoil. And have some place to go if your place flood out.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Hi there, I'm Narissa Pearson, a broadcaster by profession and radio personality on 98.1 Hot FM of NCN. I just received my vaccine. And the process was pretty simple and easy. I will admit I was very nervous. I was very terrified to get a shot. It wasn't about the fact it's a COVID-19 vaccine, but just my fear with getting a vaccine generally since I was a child. But it was a really simple process, and I want to encourage a lot of people out there to get vaccinated. As we continue to cope and deal with COVID-19 and its impact, I firmly believe that we should all take whatever precautions, whatever access we have towards mitigating the spread of this virus, and more so its impact on our lives and our health. So I'm very, very happy to have been vaccinated, and I hope a lot of people out there come and get their vaccines as well. I look forward to getting my second dose on this page so that I can really have a proper defense system against COVID-19.
Across the region tonight in Trinidad, Independent Senator Hazel Thompson-I has urged the government of Trinidad to redouble efforts to eliminate the huge amount of pornographic material circulating in the country. The Senate unanimously passed a bill on Tuesday which gives the public the right to access a sex offender website, providing names, photographs, and dates of birth of convicted sex offenders. In the debate, the independent Senator Thomas I spoke of a man who sexually abused his granddaughter, and it involved one single act. She said the Parliament and Social Services should also address the issue of juvenile sex offenders, which anecdotal evidence suggested was much more prevalent than they realized in Trinidad and Tobago. She said children are suffering and they need to work on them as best as they can to deal with the problems that they are facing. She said the bill dealt with the detection of a crime that was traditionally grossly underreported. The sex offenders website applied only to those who are convicted, the official said. In Latin America, the World Bank has rejected a request from El Salvador to help with the implementation of Bitcoin as legal tender. The international lender cited concerns over transparency and the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. Earlier this month, the Central American country announced plans to become the first nation to formally adopt the digital currency. It aims to use Bitcoin as a parallel legal tender alongside the US dollar. The World Bank's decision could mean that the country faces problems in hitting its deadline to ensure that Bitcoin is accepted nationwide in the next 3 months. And finally tonight, international news. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a Trump-backed challenge by Republican-led states to former President Barack Obama's healthcare overhaul. Despite the court's conservative tilt, its 9 justices ruled by 7-2 that the challengers did not have legal standing to sue. It is the 3rd time since 2010 that the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, has survived the challenge. The law gives millions of low-income Americans access to medical insurance. It bans insurers from denying coverage due to pre-existing conditions. Today's ruling did not address the question of whether a key provision in the law was unconstitutional. The legal challenge from Texas and 17 other Republican-governed states had been backed by former President Donald Trump, who promised to have the act repealed when he was elected in 2016. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and wishing you a safe night.